It's going to be an awesome close on those SPX calls and open. Closing it open, yeah, I'm not going to hold it at all. Weird. It's only SPX that updates pre-market like that. It's kind of a pain because when it doesn't, it's a lot less than it should be. I am sitting at 98%, 23, just about 100% again. I'm up 1,035. Pretty nice back to back. Yesterday was 2,000 on the profit. 136. Yeah, don't get too comfortable with it though, Sam, because SPX will run you over. What's going on, Steve? How you doing? Good morning. Get rid of these tabs. We'll get trading view open. So I made a post last night regarding that freaking whatever the 60.3 second wick was. The amount of people that went onto the post and genuinely said, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you did this wrong, was insane. There was absolutely nothing that I could have done about that wick last night. I'll go down to the 1 minute. Make sure that the copy trader, it happened so fast that my stop loss didn't fill on Tradeify, but it of course happened to fill on the live accounts. I almost moved the stop loss up a little bit. It doesn't matter where I moved the stop because it filled at the absolute bottom of that candle. My stop loss, after you said that it wasn't 1-to-1 more mix, I moved it up to, I think, 86, and it filled at 78 anyway, which is yeah. But that you were on a sim account. If I on a live account, even if I went break even because it was only 3 seconds, it would have filled. So it regardless of where I had the stop, but that candle simply did not happen either, which is ridiculous. It was so unlucky because it went and hit full TP 5 minutes after. So that I got sold at the absolute bottom of that candle, and I can't go any lower than what the time frame is right now. I tried going to a couple seconds on this. Unfortunately, that was 3 seconds. I went and looked at Project X. It happened on there too. It was only MNQ though. NQ did not. Go on the 1 minute, look at last night. You can see NQ did not have anything close to that wick from yesterday. Actually, we draw the same thing in. NQ, sorry, not MQ. This one maybe wicked down 10 points, if that. And then it went and hit full TP. So this would have been fine. It just so happened that MNQ was all screwy. And then I did catch shorts. This one was 2 MNQ that I entered with because I was a little rattled. I was a little upset. I should have stayed with 1, but I ended up getting 2 because I was a little distraught. I was annoyed. I was very annoyed. I should realistically, this canceled out the loss that I had. So I lost 96 shorting the IB last night, which I have come to the discovery that we can no longer front run it if we're depending on where the IB closes. If it closes at 50 or 75%, we can no longer get in at that 53 to 23 to 53 window. My last 4 IB trades are all got cooked. Last night it worked perfectly. The adjustment has been doing really well with switching the position. After I did get off stream yesterday, I was just boasting about how I haven't taken any trades outside being typed in. I did take longs on SPY and ended up hitting full TP. And then this perfect day to explain why we do not trade after the IB is broken, because there's no reason to. When the IB breaks, it loses a significant amount of data that's backing it to continue up or continue down. We don't really care about the double breaks afterwards. Yesterday ended up being a double break on SPY, and then we hit 75% for a retracement. Yeah, I didn't switch yesterday 2 times. I had price wicking me to the tick, then ran to target. Last night also, before that TP, or before that stop loss hit, I was off of full TP by 3 points, which makes it even more sour. So I realistically should be down. I should actually be up $70 because I made 132 on the Asia IB shorts. I should be up like $70 to $80, excluding that $96 loss. This should have been a $70 win, $80 win actually, because the entry was 26. Exit was 68, so 42 points, $84 win. Yeah, I should. That's $170 pivot. I should be up $100 right now. But I've never had something happen like this before to me, especially in a live account. And the fact that this 3-second wick, I got filled at the absolute bottom of it because of how fast it happened. And then we went and took TP. There's nothing I could have done about that. Literally nothing. The trade concept was correct. The setup was correct. Everything else was just nasty. What caused that wick? Absolutely nothing. It was an error in the market data, an error in, I don't know. There was absolutely no news, no reason for that wick to have happened. It just 3 seconds, dropped 60 points, immediately back up. It was actually a 1 second wick because it recovered in 3 seconds. What was that? Yeah, but it didn't happen on NQ. It's a glitch in the market data. Yeah, of course. What's going on, Evelina? Good morning. Michaelo, Dan, how you doing? Some days are just like that, huh? Yeah, sadly. John Wick, morning Zinc, loving the IB strat. More I've discovered. You trade it too. Feel free to deep dive more on IB. Absolutely. We're going to today. We're going to discuss that. I think the best alteration that we've made so far is putting the stop loss to 75% of the IB and switching the position. Theoretically, this should now increase it maybe all the way up to like a 90% win rate. It is still going to lose, but the trades that we take, so let's say we were long, if we enter at 40 to 50% of the IB, that's our position. And then if our stop loss gets hit, we have a 1-to-1. And unfortunately, sometimes it is going to double stop you. It will wick back like it did last week. Very unfortunate during Asia session. New York, I haven't seen it fake it out yet. But this theoretically is the same trade as what we used to take, because what we used to do was a 1-to-1 stop, right? So we either hit the TP of the IB or we hit the stop loss. So why I'm not too upset if it is going to be a double stop is because this is the same as just invalidating the original trade. However, if the IB loses for that day, we end break even. If the IB wins, we have a 2R trade. So that flip that we're taking with a lower stop loss now as well. And yes, we are entering a little higher. So technically not break even, but we will, at the very least, we'll be down like $10 to $20 in the day. So flipping it, and this is all data backed as well. This isn't something that I just came up with to further customize the IB. If we go to, we're going to go to all weekdays, and we're going to go to the closures that happen between 75 and 100%, because that's where our stop loss is. And we're going to go to 5 years worth of data, because there's not many instances where this does happen. I'm not saying that you should go and use in 5 years, but this makes it so it's a lot easier to take a grasp of the data. This is how rarely that closure at 75% happens, which is where our stop loss is. Over the past 5 years, it's happened 32 times and 24 times. So a total of 56 times, 56 outcomes. When it does happen, we have an 85% and 83% chance to go and take the high and or low, even when the highs form first. This is why we're no longer going to be able to front run it, because if it does what happened to me last night, I front ran it. I got in at 51. 52, and then my stop loss hit at 56. If I was waiting, if I was patient, this would have signaled to me that the IB closed at 75% of the zone, and I wouldn't have taken that first loss. I actually would have just taken a win on it. Probably could have longed at, or just not taken the trade in general and waited for Asia session. So front running, I think, is off the table now. If it does hit 75%, and I know the data is not telling us this, but what this shows is that when it gets over 75%, it's a lot more likely to go and take the high and or low, depending on which level it's at. So for that trade, and kind of what we did yesterday, I took a long on stream and then ended up closing it almost immediately because it was not part of my parameters, my actual trades. I think if it gets over 75% now, I'm just going to take a long or take it to the directional break, the side that it's closer to. The same thing that we do for inside bars and outside days. For the data for today, going into today, I think I may actually hold those SPX calls into open. Our low from yesterday, I don't think we're going to go and take out. I think this trend is probably going to continue to the upside. That is our current range right there. So our previous day's high is 745.33, previous day's low 738.20. Same thing on Qs. We're actually just at previous day's high right now, 723.03. It's very likely that we go and take that level. Go into inside bars. I'm not going to back test over 5 years anymore, just 6 months. We have a 90% likelihood. Obviously, yesterday we didn't break the inside bar. I don't think anyone should have been expecting an inside bar break yesterday. We had for us to break previous day's range, we had to continue up another $17, not 17 points, another $17 on Qs. So the flip essentially guarantees a slightly green day because it's so likely it hits stop loss in the first trade. The flip will hit TP. Yeah, the flip either makes it so we get the same loss that we would have with the old strategy, where I had the stop loss at the IB low and the TP at IB high. Putting the stop loss up to 75%, we have a lower risk reward or lower risk on the trade. On the same note, if it does go and hit the stop loss and we pivot position and it double hits our stop loss, that's the same risk as what the initial strategy was, just 1-to-1 R. If it doesn't and it continues down and goes and takes the TP because we get over 75% like what we did yesterday, the loss on the first trade gets almost completely negated by the win on the second trade. So we're capitalizing the IB, and I think I got to do the data on this, analyze the data. I think this has pushed the strategy's win rate up to maybe 85 to 90%. I know that sounds crazy to say, but it's because we're taking more trades and we're capitalizing on the fact that the IB, we know that the IB breaks out on any given day. Over the past 6 months, we've had 7 no breaks, meaning we've had 117 breaks of the IB. pretty much once every other week. It won't break. Once every other 3 weeks, actually. We're capitalizing on the break of the IB almost every day now. So there's a 95% chance that the IB breaks, and we're capitalizing on that. The flip essentially negates what our losses would have been. And if it does, again, hit the double loss, then so be it. So you said if we flip at 75%, your stop is the opposite. The stop is at 50. Stop is at IB 50. So like what happened yesterday, even on SPY, it would have played out because it barely missed the 50% on the retracement down. And I think Warmex, you said that you wanted to get in on the IB 50 to the upside. Stop loss hits, you don't need to immediately flip the position. You can give it a little bit and then just go in 1-to-1, and that will still, it will do the same thing. So if you don't enter right at 75%, let's say yesterday I entered at 70%, 5% lower, then you just put it at 1-to-1. So your stop loss may be a little bit lower than the IB 50. And if that's the case, it just makes the position a little bit safer. You are risking slightly more. Your reward's more, but it makes the position a tad bit safer for you. Tad bit safer. I will, yeah, I'm going to be securing SPX into open. What was that? What caused that wick? I don't know, man. Go for it. If it closes over 75, if it closes over 50, then we want to see it get back below the midpoint. For the entry, the reason I've started entering at 40%, Friday is a really good example of this. I like seeing the rejection at 50%. So it validates the 50% rejection. I could have entered right at 50% on Friday. I waited for the rejection to hit, and then I took the trade. So that was, yeah, you can do it. A market order is fine with it. We're not, market orders won't really hurt us because we're only doing 1 to 2 micros. As long as you're not doing, yep. Yeah, that's the patience factor with it. I was saying the same thing yesterday. I talk about entering early all the time. I don't, but those are the thoughts that go through my head when I'm looking at the trade. Like yesterday, we could enter it at 25%. I would have been fine with that. And then the more it develops, the more data you have to look at and be like, doesn't really look that good for short now. It really doesn't look good for shorts. And then we close just at 75%. So I think the best case right now is waiting for 1030. Don't worry about the closing zone until 1030. If it closes below the midpoint, look for a rejection, and then you can go and market order in at 40%, 45, 50%. Ideally, you still want your entry at 50% because that gives you the highest risk reward on the trade. Still validates the concept. You can enter at 40%, 45, 50. Dan Cook will be on the stream later today. It is Tuesday. He does the IB 25 exclusively, so you can ask him any questions you have regarding that. Yeah. That one is a little tricky, so I'm going to go and look at Lu 2 years. This one, it doesn't really have much of a bias to it. It still favors going in the correct direction, but it's pretty close. This is over 2 years as well. It's pretty close to 50-50, right? This is why I want to see it get back below the midpoint before I enter. So if it closes like yesterday, for instance, we closed on Qs at 72% of the IB, 73. So it's between that 50 and 75. That one, we want to wait for it to come back down below the midpoint. If not, we see it get over the 75%, and then we can go long. But over the midpoint's a little difficult. That one, we just wait for. So that one's not an immediate entry. We wait for it to either get below the midpoint. I would say that's a ghost zone that we don't want to take. So just block out over the midpoint and below 75%. Wait for it to get over 75% or wait for it to get under the midpoint again. Yep. Steve said it perfectly. So if it closes between 50 and 75%, you're waiting to enter until it breaks 50/40% of the IB or 75%. Yes. Zinc, I'm an IB trader. I have profit target at 2,500, of which I'm up 1,500 now. The main constraint is I have only till this Friday or else it is breached. What account are you trading that you only have until Friday? What prop firm is that? That sounds terrible. SPX shows negative now. SPY fall a little bit into open. I don't think it'll be negative. It's probably just an error, Sam. Keep in mind, we're going to get hit with a pretty nasty amount of theta decay on this. It's a 0 DTE for today. So the overnight session doesn't measure any of the theta decay. It's probably going to get hit with like 20% of the position into open. Mine's still sitting at 20.0 right now. I noticed this yesterday too. The volume kind of dumps off into open a couple minutes before open. I haven't traded SPX consistently for a long time, so I'm not too familiar with how it moves exactly. Funded futures family velocity. Well, there's your problem. Funded futures family. It's per monthly. I don't think it will breach. I think you get a free reset at the end of the month. If it does happen to breach you, that's all the reason to go and trade on Lucid and Tradeify. And then once you get a couple payouts, you can go and trade a little riskier on other prop firms. But Lucid and Tradeify, they are both one-time payments. They're pretty much the only two top firms. Now, there are other firms that have one-time payments. E8 Futures is one of them, but E8 Futures is a CFD firm coming over to futures. It's not one that I would arguably use. Lucid and Tradeify, as reliable as it gets for futures. Now, my funded futures and Top Step, they're up there as well. They've been established for a long time, but they do have monthly recurring. I will be closing it right at open, yeah. I'm going to type that out right now. Closing SPX right at open. We'll see what I can get for a market order. Same thing I did yesterday. We should go and take previous day's high on Qs. How much time we got right here? 30 seconds. Contracts have stopped moving. I don't think they're going to be negative, though, Sam. We're up 0.6%. This is a 70-point move on SPX from overnight. Let's see. Get my sell to close ready, and we'll do a market order. We got 5 seconds to go. Get off that time frame. There we go. I got filled out at 21.0. Filled out at SPX at 21. I didn't manage to get a screenshot of this one, but that was back-to-back days at 22 now, of course. Back-to-back days, I filled at 12.2 for this one. 21.0. I had a same thing for Friday into Monday. I had 7.4. What was the call that I had in SPX? 7.420. Let's see. 7.440. Same contract again. 12.4 to 27.8. And then I just had the same 7.440 call for today's expiration. 12.2 to 21. Of course, it's all the way up to 24 now, but that's besides the point. So back-to-back days of just about 1,000 profit on SPX. Nice. Outside day stat, inside bar stat, sorry, already validated on Qs. You can see that we just took previous day's high with a little teeny tiny wick. SPY should also be targeting up to previous day's high at 745.39 because Qs already took previous day's range. You can go into, go back to all days. We're going to refine this to Tuesday now because we're looking at Tuesday. You can go into edgeful AI and you can do diverged inside bars. Only 5 to 8% of the time will they diverge each other. This is when they both have inside bars, so NQ and ES both have previous day's range established. They're both within it. Only 5 to 8% of the time over the past 2 years will NQ be a bullish breakout and ES be a bearish breakout, or vice versa. NQ will be a bearish breakout and ES will be a bullish breakout. So it's only a total of 15 times over the past 2 years worth of trading, meaning on the opposing side of that, 95 to 92% of the time, when NQ goes and breaks previous day's high, ES will also follow. And that is because this is a bullish breakout for today. Over the past 2 years, it's only happened 6 times. 95% likelihood that SPY goes and takes previous day's high right now. You're already funded with Lucid. You get Tradeify then. If you got Lucid, that's so the order that I would go in, the order that I prefer to go in, I always go in, especially if I'm struggling with payouts. Lucid 25K Pro. If I get a payout from that, I use that payout to move directly into Tradeify 50K growth. Tradeify 50K growth or select, that's up to you. I like the 1 day to pass accounts and it's 40% consistency. $150 minimum profit, not too bad. But the overshadowing factor of that is you have 40% consistency in the funded. The select daily, the trade-off is that you have to pass it in 3 days. You can't pass it any less than that. So you have consistency in the eval versus consistency in the funded. I'd rather have consistency in the funded because it keeps me honest. It doesn't make me aim for $2,000, $3,000 profit days. That's why I stopped trading yesterday, actually, on Tradeify. I was up into Globex Open. If I go into Tradeivate here, into Globex Open for Sunday, Friday into Sunday, which was, where was that move that we made? There was our big drop. I ended up getting in right at 829, 829 on Globex Open. And I sold at 29,000. So 170 point, 180 point trade. And I couldn't trade anymore because of the consistency, which is okay. It's fine. If you're constantly going for more and you don't have restrictions on yourself, and this is what I see happen with Top Step all the time because there's no consistency in one of their plans, then you're probably going to blow the accounts because you're always going to be aiming for more. It happened to me when I started trading. It happens to everyone. You're always going for more, and then it ends up backfiring on yourself, and you always end up losing more. What's going on, Rito? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. I got everything fixed. I cleared my cache yesterday, and it took me about an hour and a half to get everything back to where it was. So I am very fluent in how Tradeivate works and how you can adjust your positions in here. 115% on the SPX call. Very nice. Geo should be the same for you too. Back-to-back big old days on SPX. Do we do the same thing we did yesterday and throw that profit right into MSTX? Sure. And then throwing that profit into SPX will prevent me from probably swinging SPX again overnight. I'm getting a little cocky with it. Sierra Charts, what is that? Is that a firm I haven't heard of before? Price target for me, 745.33. I don't know what that correlates over to on MES. Let's see. Continuous autofill off. 747.7. 7477. As previous day's high on MES. So that is the level that we should go and take. The SPX contract is going to go nuts here. I can't find myself doing that though. SPX lost me a lot of money. She give and she take. Mostly take. ES got a bid. ES is a lot stronger right now. Much stronger on ES. What's my favorite account? My favorite prop account is the 25K Pro. The order that I go in, obviously I have the Lucid Lives now, so I don't really have to worry about prop accounts for the time being anyway. The order that I go in is Lucid 25K Pro, Trade 550K Growth, and then my funded futures 50K Rapid. And the Rapids are, the benefit to the Rapids is that you have pretty much an unlimited upside potential. There's no consistency. There's no restriction on the payout. Excuse me. I think you can do up to 10,000 a day, but if you're making 10,000 in a day and you take the full 10,000, there's really nothing for you to be complaining about, right? But the other accounts that build, the reason that I have the risk management that I do is because I traded on 25K accounts. And the 25K accounts, you cannot find yourself getting greedy on. You do not have the ability, like last night, if I tilted after that trade, the two trades I lost, I was down 196 at the peak. If I had tilted and tried longing, I would have gotten smoked for Asia. If I had longed trying to make back the loss and I had my TP set above where the IB actually was, and then I held the position hoping for it to hit my TP, I would have gotten absolutely destroyed. So always one micro, 25Ks. The beautiful part about the 25K accounts is that you only have to make 1,500 on the funded phase. You got to start playing your overnight SPX calls. I would call this a fluke. The reason that I played SPX as aggressively as I did, one, you can't swing futures overnight. Also, for everyone that asked me these questions yesterday, I saw numerous questions on X and within the Discord. Gap up inside bars. This only happens when you have a massive 4% to 5% drop. We had a 4.8% candle right here, right? We had a 4.8% drop. A gap up inside bar is when you have a mother candle of this size. That's what it's called. Mother bar. which is also your inside bar. That's your previous day's range. When you have a candle of this size, the following day's price action is extremely likely to go and retest at least 50%. So I swung SPX calls. I bought them at 353 on Friday. I was down, I think, 20% on them because price continued going down all the way until 5 o'clock on Friday, but I just wanted it into the position. The recovery, you're targeting 50%, which is where we rejected yesterday. So pre-market, we did push up, but we were waiting for SPY to go and hit 50% of that range, which we did. We hit 50%. That's where we are right now. We should go and take previous day's high. This is a much lesser inside bar than what we're looking at. And finally, the biggest part about these inside bars is that the longer you consolidate, and I remember how many people were skeptical of this when I mentioned this earlier this year. I think this was the one that we have. The longer that you consolidate within that mother bar, so this is going to blow your mind, every respective candle that is following that range. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a multiplier. So we had a 3.5% drop on October 10th, 9 candles before we broke that range. The multiplier here is anticipating 9x whatever the size of that mother bar is to the upside or the direction that you break. So 9 times 3.5% is 31.5%. So if we measure from the high of that October candle, 31.5%, that should be the implied move that we're anticipating to the upside, which we've done 22% so far. And there's no invalidation on that. That's how consolidation works on a multi-year time frame. We did the same thing April of last year. The difference was this one was an upside mother bar. This was a 13% candle to the upside. I've noticed that it doesn't really happen on the upside candles. It happens more so in the downside ones. But this is still a multiplier of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means we should be anticipating a 130% move from April 22nd of last year. If we go and measure out what we've done so far, we've done 60%. So we have another 60-ish percent to go from that mother bar last year. That is how I trade inside bars, mother bars, only when we have a significant drop. You don't need to do it when we have upside because upside always continues to get bought. You target 50% of the range, previous day's 50. And that is why you can't swing futures overnight. So I swung SPX calls over the weekend. I was going to put 2,000 in. I ended up putting 1,200 in because I was a little worried about the theta decay. And then we had a 200-point reversal on SPX. So I made a whole lot of money there. And there is previous day's high on SPY. Just hit with a wick. Hive day is 745.35. Previous day's high is 745.33. You'll be rewatching the stream to absorb all that. Awesome. What's the payout structure on the rapid accounts? You need to make 2,000. That's it. No consistency. There's no minimum days to pay out either. You can get daily payouts on them. The downside, the drawback to the rapid accounts on my funded futures is that it's intraday trailing. It's very difficult to make that 2K profit in one day. But if you do, there's no consistency. There's no buffer requirement. You just have to make 2,000. And once you're over 2,000, you can take whatever out. Minimum payout's 500. So you have to get up to 2,500 profit. 2,600. I think it trails by 100 like most firms do. Where are the SPX calls sitting at now, Sam? I'm going to check my phone. I'm guessing they're probably at 30. 33. Oh, no. Yesterday, if I had held, I would have ended up losing all the profit, ended up going to zero to close. So it would have been a really high open and then a really bad close. We should be continuing this trend. A lot of people ended up flipping bearish because of this one day. There wasn't really any significant news with this day, but this is what happens. This is a picture perfect shakeout. So what happens when you have irrational upside, then you have everyone trying to jump short. We finally have the one short day, and all those people that were shorting the entire time immediately flipped to going, no way, this is continuing lower on a Friday afternoon. I'm longing. And there were a significant amount of blown accounts on Friday. So many people trying to inverse this trend. I don't know that for certain, but just because of the way that this proceeded to the downside, I'm guessing everyone that blew their accounts was trying to long this. And then we just continued down. By the time you do finally flip short, we have a 190 point reversal on the 5-minute time frame just to continue down another 200 points. Friday is a very difficult one to trade. Yeah, you can't do that with SPX though, Sam. I fall victim to it all the time. SPX calls are up 300% now. Just as easily what we did yesterday. I could have held it for the inside bar today, especially seeing Qs take it right into open. Bullish IB so far, by the way. I could have held it. Probably should have held it. But yesterday, if I had done that, I would have ended up losing all the profit on the position by 9:45. Trade actually went from, I sold yesterday at 2,700. The contract was at $400 at 10 o'clock because we had a crazy reversal down. This is going to eat me up a little bit, but I'm still happy that I made 1,000 going into today. We should have held it. Yeah, no kidding. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bullish IB right now. I'm going to be looking for an entry at previous day's high as long as we hold where we are right now. Same thing for SPY. We have a very, very high conviction today that we're going to continue higher. It's very unlikely that we have a reversal because of the double inside bar break. It's very likely that we end up continuing higher and do not reverse. So any downside is going to be a gift for today. Tuesdays do still stink for the IB, but when the low forms first on a Tuesday, we're fine. As long as it's the low forming first. If the high forms first on a Tuesday, it usually loses. That's over the past 6 months. We have a 50% likelihood that it will lose if the IB high forms first, but for the low forming first, 73.3%. We've only had 4 losses over the past 6 months for this instant. Last Tuesday, low formed first, high broke first. Tuesday before that, low formed, high broke first. And then the one before that, we had the high formed first, high broke first. As long as the high doesn't firm first today, we're fine. Lots of momentum this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna be kicking myself into the afternoon. This is gonna stink, Sam. It's gonna stink to look at. One more check and then I'm done, I promise. It's at 48. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. That hurts. I'm not even looking at the percentage, but that's $1,000 to 4,800 overnight. It's okay if I keep that mindset. The next play is going to be 2,000 to 0 overnight. Especially CPI is tomorrow morning, by the way. So do not try to take a SPX call overnight. How did I learn all this? 7 years of showing up every day. I did. So the inside bars, the gap up inside bars, this is by far my favorite thing to play when it does happen, but it happens, as you can see, very rarely. Very rarely do we have a 4% day. I think, to be exact, we average one of these every 2 years. The last one that I played, the last gap up inside bar, I think was November of last year. Maybe I might have played the October one. I'm not sure. We had 2 of them pretty close together. So we've had 3 over the past year. It's not very often, is it? That's 1 a quarter, less than 1 a quarter. Most of the time they do work. Anytime, and I urge you to go and look at these large candles. The last 2 that we had one on April 4th. It was a 6% drop. Where did the following candle go? If I am going to draw this out, following candle actually went to 75% of previous day's range. I'm going to go and jump to, let me fix my screen here real quick. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Bottom's a little too low for my liking. How the heck did I fix this? Stop it. To the top. Okay, there we go. That's better. So this date is, what was it? April 7th, 2025. So go back to April 7th. Of course, it was Friday into Monday again. We'll go into replay mode. It's pretty silly of me. I was already there. I'll go down to the 5-minute time frame so you can see the range on this. So there's our IB. The IB high formed first. IB low broke first. IB still worked a year ago. Now, what we would be doing, this was a Friday close, Friday, April 4th, going to Monday, April 7th. What I would have been anticipating, I know this is as hindsight as it gets, I would have been anticipating a continuation up to 435 at the very least. The low on this day was 420, and this is because it was a 6% drop, massive red candle. The day before that was 2%, so that's not nearly big enough. The day before that was with news, only 1% because we pushed up 1%. So it's got to be a directional day for the entire thing. Our overnight open, or 4 a.m. open was 450. Our close that day was 420. So it was a $30 drop, 6%. Now, if we skip forward to the following session, where'd my price go? Select bar. We're going to go right there. Where'd price action go? I have to wait for the entire weekend. There we go. There's our open. So we gapped down to Globex. First thing I would have been anticipating was a gap fill of 420 because that is a previous day in London gap. Our previous day's range, there was a gap between that and where price opened. But as you can see, I probably would have immediately gone open into that Globex. And we're coming into New York open now. So there's 915, 920. That is the reversal. And you can see, look at the rejection at previous day's 50. Same thing we did yesterday too. Massive daily candle, retraced to 50%. This one looks like it did have news associated with it. And then we did nothing else for the rest of the day. So as soon as we hit 50%, done, no more continuation. And then the following day, if I exit replay mode, leave, and we'll go back to April 7th. The following session ended up getting a continuation higher as well. But that's how I go about trading these massive daily candles to the downside. Very rarely will you have a continuation in that direction. And the validation for this continuation, nice little rhyme there, also helps when we have a crazy bullish trend. Like we could not have been any more bullish for the past 6 months. So one little drop like this is not going to immediately pivot direction. This is going to cause a buying frenzy, which is, if you go to the volume profile for yesterday as well, you can see how much volume we had come in yesterday open. Higher than any volume day for the past 4 months. And then we reverse and continue higher. Beautiful pullback right here. SPY's rejecting 50% of previous day's range, or that mother bar from Friday. Too early to get into the longs. Never heard this before, so glad I tuned in. Yeah, how many people in chat haven't heard of the gap up inside bars? What expiration do I play? I played 0 DTE, or the next expiration. So yesterday I bought today's expiration, and then Friday I bought Monday's expiration. So on I entered because and then the reversal immediately started for Globex Open, and I sold it immediately at open yesterday at 744.35. Same exact thing I just did for today. So I bought it. When did I typed it out? So I have the timestamp for it. I bought these calls at 3:55 yesterday. So on this very last 5-minute candle is when I entered. My entry was 739.16 from the looks of it. And then I just closed at 744. So a $5 pop, which is 50 points on SPX. A lot of what I hear in here is stuff I haven't heard before. You haven't heard of gap up inside bars every day. At the money call, yeah, it's typically what I do. Sorry about the lag. Looks like our Wi-Fi is getting hit a little bit today. Has anyone else been having crazy issues with Verizon? I have god-awful service recently on my phone. Places that I usually have service, usually have perfect service, and Verizon's just not working recently. No idea why. Gonna make sure I remember to go send Dan the stream link for today. You've been out of service for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's about the same as me. I don't know what happened. My who was it that was telling me this? I think my mother-in-law. She was like, "Do you think T-Mobile is sabotaging Verizon satellites so people move over to T-Mobile?" Which honestly, it sounds like a conspiracy theory. She might not be wrong. Since they got hooked up with Starlink, my service has sucked for Verizon. Yeah, everyone wants to use Starlink now. No one wants to use Verizon. I do live rural, but I used to have my connection used to be great, regardless of where I was. There was a few dead spots around me, but now it's just every time I go out of the house, every single time I leave the house. Got him the stream link. Beautiful. Can I ask what IB is Asia session? Asia is 19. No, Asia is 20 to 21. Eat my words right now. I did not think we were going to reverse down that much. You're heading to Maine next week. Was hoping to trade. Yeah, Verizon too. What part of Maine are you going to? You got T-Mobile's 20-year plan that I paid $234 with taxes for 10 lines. Wow. Big family. 10 o'clock wiggle? Yes. I think we had data at 10 today too. Let's see. I believe we had, yes, two things. We had existing home sales and wholesale inventories at 10. Not that those impact us very much. But that pivot happened before 10 o'clock. It happened at 9:50 and 9:55. Now we have a new IB low form first, but play for this today. We can sneak on over to our edgeful AI. We go into diverged IBs. And we can play the 17%, 83% stat. Good morning, Dan.
Morning. How are we doing?
Good, good. Doing good. Talking about the divergence we have today. So what this means is if we go over to Qs and SPY breaks the upside, then we go and take longs on Qs. If Qs breaks the downside, then we go and take shorts on SPY, because there is only a 17% likelihood that they will both play out correctly.
Yeah, I like your divergence theory a lot because it's pure data, isn't it? Pure data.
I got hosed last night.
Oh yeah?
Let's see if this ever happened to you. On a live account too, by the way. So my new model with the IB is if the stop loss hits at 75%, I pivot long. We had a 1 second 60-point candle down, filled my stop loss at the absolute low of the candle, the lowest the low was, and then it reversed back up all within 3 seconds.
Jeez. What was the cause of that? What is that wick? What is
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh.
Just the error in price action. It could have wicked down 200 points and I would have been even more screwed. Could have wicked down 100 points. My stop loss was at 86. So it wicked 8 points below where my stop loss was and then went and took full TP. Sadly.
Yeah. That's just the market's version of giving a big middle finger to you there, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very upsetting. Nothing I could have done about it. And then I went and made my money back during Asia with shorts to IB low. I did front run this one last night. That's why my TP there.
Is that like an IB 25-ish sort of trade? Looking at the level there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice. What makes you take the IB 25 there then versus the IB 50?
Well, last night I'm glad I did because I would have gotten stopped out again. Last night I took it because I was a little tilty after that stop loss and I wanted some money back.
Okay.
I typically like to wait for the 50. What I've done now, let's see how you like this. Maybe I can convince you to start taking the 40 to 50%. So if I go long on the IB, actually I'll just use today's price action for it. Long and or short. So if we go, yesterday would have been a good one to cover for it too. So let's say I went short from the IB yesterday. My ideal entry is at, I go down to 5 minutes for this. My ideal entry is at 50% still. But my stop loss now goes to 75%. And if the stop loss hits, then I pivot the position to the opposing direction. So I pivot the position to target the next high on the IB. And it negates the loss. I either end the day break even. I end the day with whatever the initial loss on the IB would have been, which I used to go 1-to-1, right? I had my stop loss at the IB low or IB high. I put it at 75%. If 75% hits, I pivot the position to be long to IB high. And that is because with that beautiful IB closure zone that we have now, all weekdays again. We'll go to 75 to 100%, and we'll look at it for 5 years because there's not really enough data for the past 6 months. Once it loads, when it closes in that zone, it has like an 88% chance that it's going to go and play to the upside or the downside. There you go, 84 and 83. So your stop is typically at 75%. I know that your entry's at 25%, so it wouldn't really be that optimal for you to do this. But it works out for me that I either end the day break even, I end the day with a loss that I originally would have had, which is 1-to-1, or I hit full TP on the initial trade. So I got to do the actual.
It makes perfect sense.
But I think it's increased the win rate to 85 to 90.
Jeez.
So what I did last night, I just got screwed on this ghost wick, whatever you want to call it. Screwed me over.
Yeah, makes sense. It makes it for me. It makes perfect sense. And I've looked into the way you've been doing it, and I've kind of been thinking this because what I did was I looked at all of my trades right for May, and I looked at the IB25 trade, right? What would have happened with this trade if I entered at IB30, IB40, IB50, or something like that, right? And a lot of the times it does come up a little bit through the IB25, maybe hits the IB30, IB40, and then gets the entry in. So a lot of the trades, actually, I would be out of the trades quicker.
Yep.
And do you know what I mean? And the only problem for me is I am so used to trading the IB25 now. I've made it work so well for me. The one trade a day rule for me works so well for me. Like my results and my prop firm payouts and my progress with my prop firms are going so well at the moment. It's kind of like I'm scared to touch anything with it at the moment. I'm sort of in that position at the moment where it's working well. But it's something I'm looking into at the moment. You know, what I'm doing before I do anything, I'll just mark it up. So every single time in my journal, at the end, I've got like an extra section I've put in now, just put in like thoughts, and I'm just putting in markups of IB30, IB40, what would have happened with the trade today if I entered here. Maybe some days I'll hit the IB25 and then go lower if I'm taking a short, and I wouldn't have got an IB30 or IB40 entry, and I'm marking that up as well. So I like to mark it up first before I change or adapt or do anything else. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you said that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, that IB25 is just working for me really well at the moment. I think for me, it's because it's just so consistent for me every single day. I know the level that I'm entering on. I know what I'm going to do if it breaks above the UAP. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Your adaptations to your system just make perfect sense. You can't argue it. Oh, can you? It makes perfect sense. The data's there. You said your win rate's up as well, which makes perfect sense. If you're cutting from, taking a loss and then making it back through, trading the opposite direction makes perfect sense. So fair play.
Harry said, why bother with the 50% entry if there's an 80% opportunity in the 25 to 75% zone? The 50% entry is still where the majority of the profit comes from. Yesterday, obviously, I didn't take the shorts yesterday. I actually took longs to the IB high because we closed at the 75%. So I avoid the loss completely. But Friday, if you enter at, and I'm not discrediting the 25 at all, I'm just advocating for the 50 here. If you enter at 25%, you're in drawdown for like 15 minutes, and your entry would have been at 50% anyway. The closure zone below the midpoint of the IB still gives you a 65 to 63% or 64 to 63. The largest win comes from the closure to 0 to 25%, but the downside to this is that your reward isn't as much. And this all comes back to profit factor, risk reward, win rate. These numbers are all higher for a win rate, 92 and 85. But your reward is what, Dan?
0.5 R, isn't it? Yep. It's 0.5 R. If you're going to take it at the IB high or the IB low. So if you're going to trade the IB 25, in my opinion, the way I trade it is you've got to be cutting those losers. Exactly. You cannot, it depends where you're putting your stop loss. I mean, if you just throw me on screen for a minute, just let me just show Friday's trade, which you just showed from my lens and my point of view here, because this was the Friday trade. I took it here. Where did I take it? I got in at 10:25, so about 5 minutes. Why is it not loading up for me?
We are looking to trade the IB today, but we have another 20 minutes for me anyway.
Yeah. So I entered around about here, and I got out on the IB low, but for me, the IB50 for me is scary for me in this trade. Why? Because I'm above the VWAP. So if you're a VWAP trader, it's quite scary, that, isn't it? But if you're trading the 50% like you are, and you're getting so much, I mean, you can't argue with the IB50, can you, on Friday? I mean, look at that. That is like literally almost to the tick. Yeah.
Talked about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you mean how much were you in drawdown? Like,
I didn't have any.
Like,
zero.
Didn't have any. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I wasn't red for a single tick.
Yeah.
I did get pretty lucky with the fill on it, because I filled if you zoom all the way in, as far in as you can go, I filled as
where did you fill, sir? To there?
No, the wick.
Like that?
The wick after 10:30.
The wick. The wick. You got in. No.
So I had in there. Quite literally zero. I was not red on the trade for a second.
No. That's crazy. And
then my stop loss is at 75%. My TP was at IB low.
Jeez. That's beautiful.
For like 45 minutes. I was on my Funded Future stream.
Yeah, I took this on the prop firm stream, but I'll tell you what, this was scary, because when I was in this trade, I got in, where did I get it? I got in 10:25. So I got in on this candle here, right? And around about
review up for a second.
Round about here, I lost my internet. My internet had gone on me completely. So I was live on stream in a trade, and the internet just went. Not sure what was going to happen when I was going to come back on stream and on the screen. What's going to happen to it? But luckily, it was around about here or something. So I was like, okay, below VWAP, it's fine.
A lot of stress relieved.
Yeah. But that's why I like the IB25 there, because I like playing the right side of the VWAP, which makes sense to me, isn't it? And you and me prove exactly here. You've got to do what makes sense to you, haven't you? Absolutely. You've got to do what feels right to you, so it's going to be different for each person.
Look at that comment. Started trading prop firms 2-3 weeks ago. Just secured my first payout on my first Traderify account. That is very unlikely. Congratulations.
That's awesome. Insane. Do you think traders are getting payouts quicker? Do you think like newbie traders are coming in and they're getting, entry to payout or entry to passing a prop firm challenge quicker than maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago when it was only Top Step and you could only trade?
They follow this stream, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends. I know that sounds like a joke. It depends on who you learn from. Like PipT, if there was one instance, Tan, that's one. PipT also did the same thing. And I think we have one more guy in here that's also, I don't remember his name, if you want to speak up in chat, or if we have multiple people that have gotten their first payout. PipT started trading in, I think, November of last year, just watching these streams, and he's raking in the payouts with it. He is still blowing accounts, but he's blowing accounts after getting payouts. So it depends on who you learn from. There's a lot of, I've been talking about this all week with Warmex, funny enough. There's a lot of discretion with ICT concepts and concepts that you have with where do you enter on an inverse fair value gap, what ones do you take, what ones do you not take. With the IB, you have the high form first, you have the low form second, or you have the low form first, high form second. Your entry is at these levels. It's always the same every single day. The only differences that we have, and I'm going to pull my screen back up for it. It's a perfect segue into the data for today for a high forming first is very, very poor over the past 6 months on a Tuesday. It's the Tuesday what?
The Tuesday tease.
Tuesday tease.
The Tuesday
Tuesdays have been very difficult for the IB high forming first. We had, and I know it looks fan-freaking-tastic for shorts right now, right? This happened to poor Dan here 2 weeks ago.
My only loss of the month last month. Crazy.
This was our last Tuesday. We were both on stream May 19th, 2 weeks ago. we were at 90% of the IB, and we went and took the IB high. This is on a Tuesday. I think the same thing happened the Tuesday before that as well. Never mind. This one actually did go and take the correct level. One more Tuesday, maybe? Just the May 19th one. The rest of them had their low form first. I think last week we had the low form first too. Yes, low form
Tuesday.
first. I did actually end up getting an entry on that one. Yes, last Tuesday we had the low form, high form second. I took that trade. I did close early because SPY took the long, remember? SPY took the high and I closed, and then you ended up holding for like another 40 minutes and got full TP.
Yeah.
But for today, don't be overconfident. I didn't think it was that likely that we had a reversal like this because we broke the inside bar high. We only have an 8% chance that price is going to go to 713.13. That is going into inside bars. And then by breakout, we broke both SPY's inside bar high, previous day's range. Our previous day's low is at 738.20. Previous day's low on Qs is at 713. We only have an 8.5% chance that price will go and hit both previous day's high and previous day's low. And that's happened. We've had more than enough data points on this as well. This is 70 inside bars. Only 6 of them have broken previous day's high and low. This is over the past 6 months. If you want to go to a year, same exact stat, 8.9. 134 days, 12 of them. Perfectly scaled, actually. How about 2 years? Same exact thing. 22 times. So it's very unlikely that we go and take 713.13. If we do, just a rare outcome, rare day. 400-point IB range today. What do you think about that, Dan?
It's huge. Yeah. As well, the gap's filled now on MNQ, so that's done.
The wall dive, you just say it's tiny.
What?
Someone in my ear just said it was tiny.
Oh.
Yeah, we can trade it on SPY today. I would not doubt. It'd be crazy if I call this. I would not doubt us taking the IB high today with that inside bar stat. There are days that need to it's all based on this inside bar stat. We're in line with where we should be for the past year, for the past 2 years, 3 years. The data is right lined up where it should be. This is a beautiful stat, by the way. Look how it's not changing at all. The further I go back, 5 years is when it starts adjusting up. But 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, all the same, 8.5%. That is an 8.5% chance that price goes and hits. So we're probably going to be waiting right until 10:30. I don't know about you.
For me, it's just, if you throw me back on screen, just from a VWAP point of view here, it's
let's see it come back up anyway.
The VWAP it's curving lower, but for me at the moment, the IB25 trade is risky because if I'm going to place my IB75 there, the VWAP probably is going to be, it's going to be around about here, isn't it? So for me, where's my invalidation level is going to be so high. You know what I mean? If it just flips on me and goes higher here, I'm going to take a bigger loss than I would like at the moment. So I dare say, if I am going to take a short today, probably be more towards IB50, I would say, more than IB25 for me at the moment, just because of where VWAP is. It's so high at the moment.
Everyone else hear that right?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm just surprised I heard you say
okay.
50. Making sure everyone else heard the same thing I did.
Yes, people, you heard it. Record your screens. I may take an IB50 trade here. We'll see. I don't know. I get nervous by these though, because I've been in these before where it goes so lower and then 10, 25 comes thinking, you know what, get a nice little entry. And then we just get a really aggressive move back up here because obviously we've moved lower quite quickly. So, it can retrace quite quickly back up again. So, and that'll just screw me. So yeah, being patient.
I'm not going to long this. The only reason that I was thinking, I'm thinking that we could possibly take the high. And I know this would be crazy for a Tuesday. It's all based on this inside bar. Took myself off the stream. It's all based on the inside bars by breakout. This is perfectly scaled over 5 years worth of data. Goes up a little tiny bit, but we're in line with where we should be for a year worth. It goes up a little tiny bit, but you can see on the actual stats down here, 134 trading days 12 times over the past year, 70 trading days over the past 6 months 6 times. So it's perfectly scaled. Today, it looks very likely that it's going to take that low, but if it does go and take that low, it's only an 8.5% stat. It's very unlikely, but it's very close, so it probably is going to. However, and this is what everyone's saying in chat, which I'm very happy to see, 300-point drop in the past 30 minutes, too much downside too fast, 500-point range, 450-point range. Huge range right now. I don't use VWAP, but if I slap it on, VWAP is way over 50% of the IB right now. We've had an $11 reversal on Qs. Too much too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't usually use VWAP, but I'm just saying VWAP is way up there, and that's what Dan uses.
Hey, there's recordings of you on stream using VWAP. I know this. The internet can never lie. I've seen recordings of you using it on stream, for sure.
Anchored on Qs is what I have. So it is lined up a little bit better on M and Q and Qs, but if for my chart right now, VWAP is currently at 720.54, which is about $1 over the 50% mark.
Yeah. Same for MES as well. They're literally like picture perfect at the moment, these two. In terms of they look exactly the same.
After this candle closes, it will come lower.
Look at this though. Now look at this though. Look, it's just, on MES, it's popping higher fast there.
It really does not like going and taking both previous days low and high. Doesn't want it.
Yeah. It's at 8%. I've got some success in recent weeks, in May especially, having the IB high or IB low as a target, but then also having another pull on price just above it, like a previous session high or a gap fill. But this as an 8% stat with the previous session low below the IB low, plus Tuesdays. It's like a
Tuesday's tease. Feels a little icky, doesn't it?
But it's 40%, 50% odds today for the last 6 months for Tuesday short.
The emphasis I want to put on the stream today is never, ever being too overconfident with the trade. So I'm going to keep going back to that Tuesday. I can go and find it real quick. Tuesday, May 19th. And this happened during Globex on Sunday as well. If I go on my TradeAvate chart. Globex on Sunday, a lot of overconfidence with longs. And then we had a 300-point reversal. And then we continued long. It's never a sure thing. Never, ever a sure thing. So Tuesday, arguably May 19th, this Tuesday looked a lot better because VWAP was lower. We had a closure at 90%, price consolidated down there for 45-ish minutes. It still went and took the high, which you can see the aggression on the bounce that we're having right now. We're putting in a doji candle on the 15-minute. And this is all based on data. This isn't based on us having an icky feeling with how far it's dropped. This is an 8% stat that we go to previous day's low, which is 713.09, combined with IB by rejection for a Tuesday, 54% likelihood that we go and take the low with 15 and 11 data points. So of the past 11 Tuesdays that we formed the high first, 6 of them went and broke the low, 5 of them went and broke the high. And we have that example from 2 weeks ago that it was basically taking the low. It was right at the low, and then it went in reverse and took the high. Look at that comment. Yesterday we had fake Zinc. Today we have fake Dan.
Am I not allowed? Am I allowed to take? Can the chat tell me? Am I allowed to take an IB50? Am I allowed? I need to know if I'm allowed. Am I allowed? Okay, I'm allowed. Okay.
Oh,
you're allowed. Okay. Good. Just want to check.
I can hear you, Warmex. Okay. Well, either way, we have to get back to 50%.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things going there. The thing is, okay, if we get to 50%, do we retrace all the way through it with the strength that this candle has? We just bounced off the gap fill as well. The overshadowing stat today is the inside bar double break. So we broke the high. That stat that I have written on my screen, 8.5% likelihood that we go and hit that level. And what you just said, you like taking it to the direction that has an added confluence on it. So if we had we not broken the inside bar and we had a 90% likelihood to break previous day's high and low, that would be a lot better for you than taking this with only an 8.5% likelihood that we go and hit previous day's low.
Yeah, I mean the 8% stat, it just makes it nothing for me. Like that previous session low. Yeah, it's as if it's not there for me. Like the previous session low would usually be, and that's why it's really important to look at the data on the reports as well, isn't it? Because you'd look at that previous session low below that and be, oh, that's a good pull on liquidity. Oh yeah. But it's just for me 8%. It's a nothingness. But it's not that I always need another pull on price below IB high or IB low. Like I don't always need it. Like on Friday for that short, I was playing the short based on the momentum. That price was just dropping like crazy, wasn't it? It just did not stop all session that day. It was crazy on Friday.
Barreto, that promo code or the promo for the IB strategy should be in your promo tab. It's pretty difficult to find in your email. It's not in spam. It's not in marketing. It should be in the promo tab. That's where it got sent to. So if you haven't checked that yet, check it. If you haven't gotten it, reach out to the edgeful support team and they'll get it to you. Or you can DM me on Discord and I'll get it over to you.
I think my internet is so slow today. Like even just trying to click on trading view tools, click it, and then I have to click my screen about 6-7 times for it to actually go on.
That's the
internet in this. Yeah. It's just this part of the world at the moment for internet.
So Warmex today is a difficult one. The reason that today is so difficult is because the data, let's say this was a Wednesday instead. Wednesday's IB data tells us that we have just crazy stats to go and take the correct level when the high or low is formed first. For today, and this is the trend that we've had for Tuesdays this year, it's just been terrible. Tuesdays this year, when the high forms first, it's very unlikely. Even when you go on ES too. Oh yeah, it is way better. You're right. So that means that ES is probably, I think that actually did happen May 19th. If I remember correctly now, Dan. I was in ES shorts and ES went and took the TP, but Qs reversed all the way up.
That's it. Yeah, that was it. Yep. You literally got in 5 minutes out. I was stuck in my trade for about over an hour or two.
That could be a trade for today. Yeah, we could take shorts on ES. That I like a lot better than, but the downside with that is that double break on the inside bar. I know it's adding too many data points into one. Had this been a Wednesday, it would have been a lot more appealing for me, or without that inside bar stat. This is a decent entry for shorts. We're at 25% of the IB, and I'm yapping too much. It's probably going to go and take it.
Yeah.
Good entry for shorts on ES. It is still a really big range. This is a 10-point break from 25%. So it's not too bad, actually. 20-point break, actually. Sorry, 20 points. So this is an 80-point range today on ES. That's crazy. This is a 75-point range on ES for the IB today. Never the most important thing. I think it would probably be good for my mental health to not enter another trade today, because I did already take 2 losses. I was a little tilty last night for Asia because of that stop out and whatever else. It looks like it's going to go take the low right now. I don't know if you're in a position or not, Dan.
No. You've got to when you're being selective, you got to accept there's going to be some trades you're going to miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this one, the data wasn't really that good.
Yeah, but also as well, go on.
Andre said, guess if I took longs or shorts. I'm guessing Andre took longs immediately at open and nothing else. No, I'm just kidding. You probably shorted this. And my guess, you ready for this? Let's see how close I can get, Andre. I bet you got in at 29,713. You got out at 29,620. ES would be a lot better right now than NQ.
Yeah.
Could you imagine we go and take the high now? Do it back-to-back Tuesday. Not back-to-back Tuesdays, but 2 Tuesdays in that short of a time frame.
It's Tuesday. Literally Tuesday is the day I expect the unexpected. Right?
Not a bad entry right now. Close 29,800. Wow, you got in pretty early.
See, the longer we're in this, longer it kind of does this, the more sort of VWAP trends lower, like it coming to the IB50. So we'll see.
I am, as much as I hate to say this, because I would like to get a trade out for everyone today, I am going to trust the inside bar stat, I think. I'm going to put my faith in the inside bar stat. Tried shorts again. Will you look for
longs? Will you look for longs if it goes like...
No, I'm not
say no.
SPY, I wouldn't mind taking shorts right now because it looks really good on SPY. We're right at 25% of the IB. This is actually your entry right here. 25% of the IB. You're right though. The longer it does stay down here, the more likely it is to go and break. I don't know. I do want to take it on SPY. I cannot decide. If anything, I would take it on SPY today, not Qs. QQQ is also just too big of a range.
I'd love to see it come up, go towards VWAP, and then come back lower. That would be quite nice. Showing the VWAP's holding then. That would be nice. But I've noticed that with my best trades. My best trades are an entry just after a bounce off VWAP. When I get that, that's nice. The ones I get screwed on are the ones where it's gone lower, not bounced off VWAP for ages, and eventually it does retrace up to VWAP because it will do at some point, and yeah, I get screwed on it.
You can't hear him right now, but he's Warmex is talking to my ear. Someone in the Discord. He said Gex is also up at 7. Gex isn't something that I use. I know a lot of people have success with it. I'm struggling not trying to take a short right now. Yes, I want to take it. It looks so good to go to the downside. I think it would be good for me to have a red day because I haven't had one on these live accounts yet. And if it's only a negative $70 day, that's fine. I'll show, let's see what my P&L calendar looks like. So that's what I would end up with, 67 red on the day. ES is way better than NQ for the stats today as well.
Yeah.
My biggest issue right now is that double break on the inside bar. It does, obviously it happens 8% of the time. It has to happen. So today's just as good of a outcome for it to happen on. Risk reward would be about $100 taking the short on ES. It's 13 points from where it is right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Mag 7 stocks as well. They're quite mixed as well. You got Apple down 3%, Meta up a couple of percent.
I don't think that I'm going to inverse the data. I'm not going to try to call BS on it, but taking a trade is just as beneficial as not getting into one. Or not taking a trade is just as beneficial as getting into a poor one.
Yeah.
Screener is the Italian flag. Actually perfectly split 35-35.
Ooh, look at that. Yeah.
So Apple's bullish, Amazon's bullish, Avgo's bullish, Costco, and then we have bearish Google, Microsoft, bearish Tesla. That is for the gap fill. Inside initial balance, bearish on Apple, bearish on Avgo. And then this one's perfectly mixed right now. Google, Microsoft, and Meta. Let's see how bullish those are. Meta's up 1.7%. Google is up 1.3%. And what were the other ones? NVDA is down 1%. Yeah, it's perfectly mixed.
Yeah. That's why it's always important to know the stocks that make up the asset. I love it when people message me going, what's the Mag 7? They're taking trades on NQ. Gotta know what you're trading. Gotta know.
It's looking much better on SPY.
Hey, but it's living up to the name though, right? Tuesday tease, isn't it? It's proper teasing, right?
QQQ, you see how close we can get. We got to 96% of the IB. 714.46.
See, I look at this now. 25% now level on MNQ, but I can just see it coming back up to VWAP. And if and any ICT traders as well be looking at that gap as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not an ICT trader, but
I'm tempted to take the short on SPY, but it's going to be a struggle for me today. I'm going to take the red, I think. For the inside bars, to get them, you go into inside bars on your report. So just a standard report, top left, inside bars. I have it bookmarked. And then go into the sub report on those inside bars and click the breakout. What this tells you, inside bar by breakout report, how often do you take previous day's high? How often do you take previous day's low? And then how often do you touch both previous day's high and previous day's low? That's actually less likely to happen than staying inside of previous day's range. So it's more likely that we just stay within previous day's high and previous day's low than it is for us to break both previous day's high and previous day's low on the same day. It happens 6 times. So that is how you go about getting that report. The inside bar stat, I believe, is one of the most significant ones on edgeful recently over the past 6 months because of the 90% stat. Only 10% of the time we stay within the range. The other 90% right here, we break out of that range. This would be as you just said, proper tease for today.
Look at that, yeah. I mean, it's literally wicked off the IB25 to a tick at the moment. So if that takes the IB low, that will be that's a tease for me. That, yeah. Well, that's one of those where, I mean, no. For me, it's all about VWAP for me. Yep. It's all about VWAP.
I'll pull up your screen again.
I've got to listen to that at the moment. That's for me. That's just like I'd love to draw it for you, but my tools are not working on TradingView at the moment. But basically, this is like the black hole of death for me at the moment. I can just see it just coming up and test and view up again, filling this gap here for the ICT traders out there. I can see it. It may not. It may take the eye below and it's going to tease me, and I'm going to walk away from this and go, oh, why didn't I get in the IB25? But I know why I'm not getting the IB25. And I think now I'm getting better these days, looking at a trade thinking, if I lose this, will I be happy with this? And if I take this at the IB25 and it comes up here and it goes about here, and then because of my strategy, I need to close it here and take the loss, I will say to myself, why did I take that? Because we were so far from view up. I know I will.
It takes the high,
and I
trading messiahs. We seem like we're the best traders ever. Even though we didn't take the long, just being able to call that was going to go the long. Yeah, this is incredibly difficult for me to not get in the trade right now. This is arguably more difficult than taking anything. This is the hardest.
This is it now. This is the difference now, isn't it? Though, is having that self-control, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You've turned up to the desk. You feel like you want to take a trade, but you know it's kind of, if you're going to take it and be proud of it. But if you're looking at it and thinking, then for me, it's just, yeah.
ES looks so good. It looks so good
because the range is so.
Yeah, I would, if I entered it, I would put the stop loss at the very least 1-to-1. So
for the IB25.
Yeah, because it's 20. It's an 80-point range on SPY.
Yeah.
So you're risking. You don't want to risk. I wouldn't want to risk all the way up. SPY is usually like $100 for micro. This would be a $200.
But look at this. I like to risk one micro, not more than $300. Look at this. One micro on my usual sort of position is a $483 risk minimum if I want to place my stop where I usually place it. It's how much is the stop? It's 241 point stop.
But you're not a fan of that?
No. No, I'm not. No, not for the position sizing that I want to have for my accounts anyway. It's just too much. And for me, that would be difficult for me to do because of VWAP, because I still see it wanting to come up and test, but it's a definite tease. But do you think that because the range is so big, do you think it could just chop? Do you think it could just do this?
Yeah, if we are going to have in the range, it would be this size, but I know we're going back and forth here saying it looks good to go take the low and then it looks good to bounce up. I think it looks good to go and take the low. What Andre just said, the reason he took shorts was because he was expecting a pullback for price to go higher. And I'm assuming, Andre, that was based off of us not having, I don't know if he's still in here. I hope he is. First off, the gap filled by size. We had a 1% gap up today. It was very unlikely that we went and filled that. We actually only had a 14% chance. We had 8 gaps up of this size over the past 6 months. All 8 have not filled. Orb. There's the eye below.
Look at that. There's the eye below.
Let's see if we go
tease indeed.
If we get the 8.5% stat.
It's going to take it. It's going to take that for sure.
I think it was smart not for me to take it anyway. I need to respect that I already took 2 losses last night. Andre said everything was screaming bullish. Previous day's range, inside bars, gap fill, literally everything on the reports. There's previous.
There you go.
Into 8.5% likelihood.
Tuesdays, huh?
That means we're gonna have a
massive the unexpected.
Guys. That's usually.
Look at this now.
This should mean that we're gonna have a massive win for Globex tonight. Which actually I don't think I'm gonna take Globex tonight. Tuesdays going into Wednesdays. I don't really like taking it. I am gonna make a post on this. I am a little upset now in hindsight that we didn't take it. Same thing that you just said, Dan. But yeah. I'm rather pleased with my discipline because I don't think I would have been able to refrain myself from taking this trade today.
Yeah.
So again, it was an 8.5% likelihood that price went and took previous day's low after taking previous day's high on Qs.
That's just crazy. 8% stat and it's taken it. And it's just not stopped going down, is it?
No,
in the past, what, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30.
Sam's still in here. How about the SPX secure into open? Because if we had held that position, we would have been done for right now. Andre said, need to get a little bit better at capitalizing on days like this. Maybe I'll start to leave a one runner and continuously trail stops. My short couldn't have been better. And it couldn't have been better until it's not in hindsight. Because what would you have done if we just immediately reversed and went all the way back up to the orb high like you were thinking, and then the runner you left gets stopped at break even?
Yeah. It's a Friday as well. The Friday, if you were in a short on Friday and then you saw it go massively low as well, it's going to make you think, isn't it? Should be holding it longer. Look at this though. Q for Dan, tell me all the points when not to trade IB25. Yeah, so I didn't trade IB25 today for this particular example because of where, yeah, it's up already. Because of where VWAP was. VWAP was around about here. Well, before VWAP was here, so it's above the IB50 for me. So for me, it's really high up. And usually price does tend to want to come and retest VWAP and then move lower. My best trades are the ones where literally we've got most candles below the VWAP or above it if I'm looking for longs, and then a nice little bounce off VWAP into the IB25. You know, they've been my best trades lately. You know, for this today, I have to accept that when I'm using discretion to sort of stay in, stay out of trades, that I'm going to stay out of certain trades, and I'm going to, you know, miss certain winners as well. But I'm trading negative risk to reward strategy. So for me, missing the losers is so much better than, you know, missing the winners, because if I miss a loser, it's going to be what, 1.5. You know, do you know what I mean? It's better to miss the losers for me. You know, I've got to be super straight. I think anyone who trades a negative risk to reward strategy, you've got to be very disciplined with the setups that you're taking, because you've got to have a high win rate, haven't you? You've got to hit most of the time. So for me today, it was just where VWAP was, and I've missed it. I mean, look at this now. Look how much is going lower here at the moment. This is bonkers.
No, what's even worse is that a lot of people will be upset about not taking the short and then seeing it drop another 200 points. That's also not within our concept, though. I think at most, how I wouldn't have wrote it any lower than where the IB was. You may have capitalized on like another 50 points. What do you think?
Yeah, I for me here, if the previous session low was not, if it wasn't an 8% stat today, I perhaps would have held it to maybe here, because it's so close to the IB low. I think I would have held it for a little bit more, you know. Easy, I mean, easy to say in hindsight now, isn't it? As it continues to absolutely dump. But, you know, for me, yeah, it's because it's so close, I probably would have held it just for a little bit more to the previous session though. But I look at this though, and I just think to myself, I'm not gutted missing this. It's a shame, but I'm not like devastated that I've missed this. You know, there's going to be other opportunities in the week as well, you know.
I needed a losing day anyway.
Yeah.
The saddest part is I should be up 130 right now, minus that wick last night. That should be plus 80, not negative 90. And then Asia, would I have traded Asia the same if I had taken that loss? Probably not. On this note, we're down another 200 points. We've pivoted almost 800 points today. This has been 760 points to the downside from the wick high that we made into open, which we had all of our data screaming bullish. Just like Andre just said, we had the gap filled by size. We had a 1% gap up, We had a 0% likelihood over the past 6 months to fill that. We had the inside bars double break, 8.5% stat. And then finally, IB by rejection for Tuesday, disregarding the closing zone, 54% likelihood that we went and took the low.
Yeah.
And even if we go over the past year, it's still not. It's a 62% likelihood. 62 IB high form first, break IB low.
Yeah. And you know what, though? It's the data that comforts me with this. Because if I'm looking at this just from a pure IB25 entry, gone to the IB low, it's gone without me, it's smashing lower, it's easy to look at that and go, damn. But then when you see the data you said, compare it to the data that's going to be available for the rest of the week, it's going to be far higher odds, isn't it, of an IB high being taken or IB low being taken on another day. So I'm happy to wait for those. It's just the data just puts me at rest, really, massively. Yeah.
Make sure you guys be careful about trading this continuation. Perfect comment right there. AO took the win on MES. Going to walk away before human nature kicks in, and I think this will be another Friday. Friday was a freak day and a half. This was a 1,500 point drop, so it's honestly very similar to what we're seeing right now. We didn't have nearly as much consolidation. Friday, we consolidated for 45 minutes before going down, actually an hour. Today, we just free fell for the entire thing. But the likelihood, I mean, I say this as we've already hit an 8% stat and a 54% stat and a 0% stat. I'm gonna get the 1 year time frame because I think that's a little bit better for the gap fill by size. 1% gap up today. We had a 36% likelihood. Actually, it was just under 1%. Sorry. So 36% likelihood we went and filled that. And then finally, IB by levels for go to Tuesday. And we're going to look at the breakdown stats. I think we already hit half standard deviation. Yes, we did. So a continuation any lower than that, 53%, 26%. That's over the past year. Let's see the 6 month data. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/8. So very meh price action, or very meh data. It does sting. Obviously, we want to come into the live every day taking a trade. Not taking a trade is the most difficult part about trading for me. Always has been, always will be. Because it is so freaking easy to go and click a button.
Especially on stream.
Yes, very difficult. So this will be my first loss. I'm going to pull my screen back up. This will be my first loss for the past 7 trading days. Technically, I had some more. That was an 880 day. I wouldn't really include that one for April or May. And then I also had 4 consecutive green days going into passing the account or the set of accounts. So this would be 5, 10, first red day in 12 days, and it's negative 67. And what makes it sting even more is that it's a red day off of something that I could not control.
But look at it compared to the rest of your green days there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so good that, you know, if you're going to take a red day and it's minus $67, and yeah, all your winners have been above that. Like you're gonna win, aren't you?
Yep.
You know.
Yes.
Play. Yeah. And that's what it takes to knock you out, huh? A freak wick.
Yeah, the market's gonna cheat for me to lose. Look at that. Something that didn't even happen. If this is the same trade on NQ, I know I already showed you this, but that's the same wick right there. It was 10 points on NQ, and it was 60 points on MNQ. This one went all the way to the 50% mark, and this one barely tickled the 25%.
But there you go. That should put a smile on your face there, huh? The market has to cheat to knock you out. Yeah, that's a cheat
for me to lose.
So there you go.
Look at that. $67 red for my first red day. Look at that reversal back up.
Yeah.
180 points just now. That seems fun. Do not be the person that blows your account today off of this subpar data, please. If you are going to blow your account, you can use code ZINC for Lucid, or you can now use code, what is it?
DCT for Tradeify. Yes.
Or you can still use Zinc for Tradeify if you like me.
Use either. It's both good luck.
DCT, just get his promo code. Show him a little love there.
Yeah.
Zara said, what a beauty day, though I love orb breakout. Must say IB was so much easier today. Yeah, if I didn't overthink it by looking at the stats, but then again, if I hadn't looked at the stats for the past 2 years or a year, then I would not be where I am right now.
Yeah.
Today's been a pretty freak day, including last night. Last night with that wick. Should probably start talking about it now. And then I front ran the IB, got lucky with the IB break 4 minutes before for Asia, and then Asia ended up reversing, taking the high. 2 phenomenal SPX swings for me as well. So I am making money regardless. I'm okay. I'm up right now. Let's see, realized $986 in the day from an SPX call swing overnight. Very happy that I closed it open now, because that profit is completely evaporated. It's no longer there.
Going back lower again, though.
Have either of you had exposure to the ATAS platform? I don't recognize the name. If I look it up.
No.
Order flow and volume analysis. I have seen. I'm going to images. It looks like it's a simplified version or another version of the bookmap.
I was going to say bookmap.
Yeah. I've used it a little bit. I don't really. I'm going to emphasize this right here. Everything that you guys could use or possibly use works. Going and using the heat map or book maps, that works. Inverse fair value gaps work. ICT works, as much as I hate to say that. Reading the data. Not really any concept out there that doesn't work. It's just about how you're able to trade it. Looking at the book map for myself and all those bubbles and seeing where price is bought, it doesn't work for me. It works for rips. Inverse fair value gaps doesn't work for me. That works for doctor trades. The IB25 sometimes works for me, sometimes doesn't. It works really well for Dan. IB50 works for me really well. It may not work for Dan. So it's just about how you are able to trade really anything. If you're able to trade this way, that works for you. Every single trading strategy works. I do not discredit any trading strategies. You can hate trading strategies. You can give them a little crap, but use whatever you want. This is, and the lives that you guys come in here and join. The reason that you come in here to join is because what we do works, and we're showing how it works. Feel free to use whatever you want, though. I have not used book maps for a long time. I used to look at it. I used to hop from every strategy you guys could think of. I have used, or I have looked at, or I know what it is.
Yeah, I got experience using bookmap. I used bookmap for a year and a half, something like that. And I just found with bookmap, it was just, it involved me making more decisions. You know, I'd see orders above, and then they disappear, and then the orders come below, and I feel like I need to flip positions and stuff and everything. It was all just too much going on for me personally. But going back to what Zink said about strategies, it's just you are the edge. Your ability to sit on the screen, follow your rules, click buttons, don't click buttons, having that discipline, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? I think that is the edge. The edge is you, because anything does work. No, as much as you hate ICT Zinc, it's like you got to look at some of the best prop traders who have taken some of the biggest payouts. They're ICT traders, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like loads of things can work. It's just you as the trader. You are the edge. You know.
If I could size up, I would be up there too, but I can't. I'm not there yet. Once I get out of this rod, I'll be fine. What was I? Oh, someone just commented that Bank of America was the reason for this drop. I'm trying to find it on Walter Bloomberg right now.
Some financial juice?
Let's see. Bank, yeah, right there. Funny enough, an hour and 15 minutes ago. Bank of America sees extended drawdown in the market due to several bearish indicators popping up, including existing home sales, wholesale inventories, market goods, tensions, and more. And then to follow that, JP Morgan's Lake, I think that's their VP right now. We are seeing zero demand for deposit tokens, which I don't really know what those are. And then to lead it off this morning, Treasury signal Fed may need higher rates. U.S. Treasury markets are pushing back against expectations of lower rates, with a 2-year yield rising above 4.1%, and pricing is potential hikes as soon as October of 2026 in the next 3 months. Yikes.
Did you see that last comment?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He probably did. He probably did. Last thing to end off, because I did see that question. I like always shouting at the promo codes. Where are we looking at for promos? So, if you guys do have, hopefully I don't DDoS myself here. Let's see, Tradeify 5-pack. Go into images. So you guys have the ability with Tradeify, you have 5 packs on the accounts, 5 account bundles right there. I know it's really blurry, but I don't want to pull up my dashboard because it will show my address if I go to purchase them. Tradeify is 35% off your first 5 purchases for this month. That stacks with the 5 account bundle. So if you wanted to, you can get 25 accounts for 35% off for the month.
It's 40% today. They're doing a flash sale Tradeify today, because it's the last day of the Grand Cut. Right. So if you're thinking about getting Tradeify, today is the day, because it'll go back to 35% tomorrow, from what I understand anyway.
Correct. Yes, that's right. I did see that this morning. So 40% off, and that works with the account bundles as well. So if you want to stock up on accounts, that's what I did last month with 40% off. It works for your first 5 purchases, regardless of if they're the bundle. If not, and then Lucid is 50% off your first 2 right now. You can get 25 accounts on Tradeify if you buy the bundles, and those accounts will be 40% off plus another 5% on top of that as well. So you get 5% off the top because the bundle gives you 5% off, and then also 40% off the 5 account bundle. So you get 45% off at the end of it. So I think the total comes down, if you want 5 growth accounts, it should come down to like $412. So like $80 an account, which is $25 cheaper than it usually is. And then Lucid is 50% off your first 2 accounts. And that just got refreshed last week or 2 days ago. So if you bought them already, or you can use DCT. Code Zinc or code DCT, you guys can pick.
DCT will give you that Welsh luck. We've
DCT
all heard of the Irish
for IB25. Zinc is for IB. Rallery sounds like banks are wanting to deploy some more capital soon, so they drop the market. Yeah, probably. We've seen this trick 1 or 2 times before, a couple times before. All right, guys, that is 11 o'clock. No trade for me today. I am taking my first red day in the past 12 trading days. I suck.
But it's okay, because the market cheated you, so it's fine.
The market did cheat me. It cheated.
Yeah.
It cheated. Use code fake Zinc ICT. Yeah.
Uh,
Have a great rest of your day, everyone. I'll see you later.